After 13 years together, we don't expect mind reading. We just speak each other's language.
Turns out, it's a whole lot easier to love each other when you stop using the wrong dictionary.
Well, this is Jim, fluent in acts of service, quality time, and the secret language of, do you want me to bring you snacks?
And this is Tab. She's made us 68 diet meals. Mm-hmm. She hasn't stabbed anyone yet.
Not yet.
And she still says thank you to me after filling her gas tank.
Yes.
That's love.
And
together, we're Unretired AF.
Today's episode is going to be on love languages and why they matter. That's interesting, huh?
Yeah.
So the first point is, why are we even talking about this? I mean, we're talking about it because they do matter. Everybody, if you don't understand the concept of what a love language is, it's how people feel loved in a relationship.
Right.
And it matters because it's important that you know what your partner's love language is so that you can make them feel loved.
Right.
Because you may be doing all the things that you think,
right,
and they're not going to feel loved by it. So
right.
it does matter for that reason.
Right.
Yeah.
And the only way to really know about it is to talk about it.
Yeah.
And to figure out, with both of you, what makes you feel good.
Yeah.
How do you get to being to feel good? So for us personally, talking about our love language gives us a reset.
Yeah.
So we know, if I did something stupid and
never.
Yeah. All it does is it puts us on a nice even keel. And the last thing we want to do is have our partner mad at us. So if you know the love language, you can get by with it makes things easier to resolve.
Well, it does. And our channel is really based on like sarcasm and uncouthness, if you want to say. But this is one of our more serious episodes because it's hard to get to that. I mean, your relationship has to have a good foundation in love to be able to handle sarcasm.
Right.
And so it's really important. We want everybody to have that kind of sarcastic, funny relationship, but you have to have a good foundation in it. And so that's why this is really, really important. And it's really important that you don't just love the other person in your love language.
Right.
Because we all have different love languages. I mean, we all like all the different things, but we have primary ways that we feel loved. And if you're always giving to your partner that thing you want, it might not necessarily be the thing that they want.
Yeah. So the moral behind that is learn your partner's love language.
Right, exactly.
Learn their love language.
Exactly.
It's not hard.
No.
And I promise you, it's very fulfilling when you do it.
Yeah.
There's nothing better than to do something that your partner likes and get that big smile.
Right.
I mean, we all strive for that.
Right.
Everybody has a different love language, though. I can't stress that enough.
Right.
No two people have the same love language. Now, they'll interconnect and they'll cross over.
Yeah.
But everybody has their own thing.
Yeah. Well, and you might be asking, what the hell is this love language shit you guys are talking about? Honestly, we'll just go over that right now. What are the 5 love languages so you understand what we're talking about?
Sure.
The first one is words of affirmation. That's thanking people, giving gratitude. It's telling them, a lot of people like to hear that they did a good job.
Right.
Even that
they look great.
They look good. They're looking good. Just words, complimentary words or words of gratitude.
Sure. The next one would be acts of service.
Right. Like filling up my gas tank.
Yeah. And it doesn't have to be big things. It can be small things. It can be something a task that you really don't like, but to do it will bring a smile to your spouse's face.
Right.
Me, I know she doesn't like going to the gas station. I fill her car up. I make sure she has good tires. I make sure everything's good. I take the trash out. I try to clean up and straighten up the house. I mean, none of that's beneath anyone to do it. But it just, again, from a previous episode, we have a very traditional relationship. Tab does most of the cleaning and cooking and I sit down and enjoy it. That's
That
not true.
is not
I do
true.
a lot too.
No.
But it's just the acts of service. It just shows you care. That's all.
And sometimes it's not, like Jim said, huge things. Like every single time that we travel and we're in a hotel, he knows that I hate the hotel room coffee maker and that packet of white powder shit that they try and pass off as cream. He knows I hate that. So he always gets up before me. He always goes out. And in the morning, he always brings me coffee from whatever they have at the hotel, whether it's a Starbucks or a whatever brand, or even if it's just a restaurant at the hotel. He bring me a good coffee with real cream or half and half in it. And that sets my day. He knows that sets my day. It sets me up. It makes me feel so good because I usually look a wreck because when I sleep, my hair's every which direction. So I'm not going to go out and get it. So he does that for me, and I really appreciate it. And like he said, I do things. I try to do things for him too. I try to make the foods that he likes, so that he feels, special. I think those little things that we can do, they just go so much further than you can ever imagine. It just shows thoughtfulness, and it shows that you care. Like he said.
But you also need to thank them for that.
You need to thank
and
them.
show that they did make an effort for you, and it means a lot to you.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and a lot of the love languages are interconnected. Yeah. Just like the next one. The next one is on receiving gifts. Some people, that's how they feel loved, is if you give them, if you, and it's not just buying something expensive. That's not what we're saying. And we're not talking about gold diggers and sugar babies, that kind of thing. We're not talking about that. We're talking about like they saw something out and they thought, oh, she or he would really like this, and it doesn't have to be expensive, but it's thoughtful. Right. It's like it means that you were on their mind and they specifically picked that out for you.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think there's a lot of people with that as their love language.
And for us, I mean, gifts come in all sorts of things.
Yeah.
Whether it's something physical, whether it's you've baked the cake that I love, or I've stopped and got you world famous donuts.
Yes.
Or it doesn't always have to be monetary.
Right.
It can be it can be a lot of things.
Then you're going into acts of service.
That's true.
So it is gifts. It is presents. Gifts. It's buying something, but it doesn't have to be something expensive.
Right.
It doesn't have to be. Doesn't have to be value based. It's based on thought. It's based on thought.
The next one is spending quality time, and
that's mine. One of mine.
Yeah. Ships passing in the night may work for some, but really doesn't work for a quality relationship.
No.
I've been there and done that. It doesn't work. Right. So spend some quality time together, whether it's just talking or watching a movie or going for a ride walking around the block. Going out. Yeah.
Going to a concert. I mean,
sure.
I love when Jim plans. I mean, quality time is definitely one of mine. I love when Jim, much better than you bringing me a present, I love when you plan something for us to do, because as well as planned as I am in business and other things like that, social, I'm like terrible at that. That's Jim is the captain of our social life. And so he often will come home with or tell me he got tickets for a concert or a dinner theater or something that we can go to.
Yeah.
And I love that. To me, that's better than a gift. I mean, it is a gift. It's just a different kind. It's a gift of time.
Yeah.
He's telling me he's going to spend time with me. And do you have any more on that one?
No.
Okay. Then the last one is physical touch. And that can be, of course, it's going to include sex.
Yeah.
But sex should be in your relationship anyway. I mean, it typically would be. This is more about, not so much about sex, but about hugs, holding hands, snuggling up, just needing and wanting and loving that physical presence of the other person.
Sure.
And I think that's probably the very common one for a lot of people.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah. I know it's one of yours.
Yeah, it is.
And so now we're going to talk about what we actually need as a couple. And we encourage you, if you're in a relationship, sit down with your partner and talk about what you actually need.
Yeah.
So
what are your wants, needs, and desires?
Yeah, exactly. And which of these 5, and sometimes you have more than one. We do.
Sure, we do.
Which of these things are things that make you feel loved when your partner responds to you that way? So I can say for me, mine is acts of service, like the coffee, like the gas, putting gas in my car. Those make me feel really loved. And also quality time, like I said, I like when Jim listens to me when we sit down at dinner, because we have dinner at the table pretty much every night, and we talk. And I love that time. I really love that time. And we went through a phase where we were watching TV at night and eating with plates in our laps, and we were busy at work. It was a really busy, stressful time for both of us at work, and we stopped doing that. And I think our relationship suffered from missing that time, because I really needed that. And so anyway, those are my love languages that I like.
Yeah, mine. I enjoy words of affirmation.
Yes, you do.
I really like that. I enjoy acts of service, very much so. And then I crave physical touch. So those are my 3.
Yeah.
Those are my 3.
So again, we encourage you to sit down with your partner and figure it out. Figure out what your language is, so that you can start speaking the same language.
Yep.
Common mistakes that couples make. One of the biggest mistakes that couples make is assuming that their partner is a mind reader. Now, I think when we're in our 20s, it's okay to sort of be nonverbal or, sort of inexperienced in how to communicate what you need to your partner. But by our age, really, we need to be able to say what our needs are and not get resentful toward our partner if they're not giving us what we need, but we're not telling them what we need.
Yeah, and I'll admit that I have done that a few times with you.
Everybody does. I've done it with you too.
But I've hopefully caught it quickly and figured out I was doing it and quit.
Right.
Feeling unloved because your partner is talking in a different love language can be tough at times. Yeah. It can be real tough. Right. We expect, if we're with somebody, that they know our love language, and that we know theirs, and we're trying to find that commonality. It hurts when it doesn't. Right.
Well, and I think that just communication is the key to getting that back on track, and understanding that your partner most likely wants to show you love.
Right.
And and so if they're doing things, if you can see them doing any of these 5 things, then they're trying.
Right.
You just need to give them some guidance.
Yeah.
On what is going to make you feel loved.
I agree.
Because we can't expect them to be a mind reader.
Yeah.
And then once you know, it's on you. If you know what your partner needs, there is a responsibility on you.
There absolutely is.
To try to make an effort.
There absolutely is.
Another one is another common mistake that couples make is ignoring when the love language changes. And that can happen. This is kind of personal for me, but I'll share it with you all. I mean, when Jim and I first got together, I was very thin. And so I would say physical touch was probably one of my love languages back then. And as we have been together 13 years, I've gained weight, and that just being a little bit self-conscious about it, that's changed. And so Jim's had to sort of he's had to shift. Understanding my love language is maybe a little different now. And I think there's a lot of people that go through changes. And it can be a lot of different things. If somebody's gone through depression, we know that these last 5 years with the pandemic, a lot of people have suffered depression.
Sure.
And maybe their love language has changed. When you have a big life event, I think that can cause your love language to change, don't you?
I do. I do. Health changes can make things change.
Sure.
Things that you really enjoyed and doing, when you just physically can't,
right,
it makes a difference.
Yeah,
It makes a difference. But the moral behind that is, if something's changed, you need to change. And you need to ask your significant other, you know, what can I do to make things better?
Right.
So, you know, for guys, I want to distress that dismissing love language as cheesy or not masculine is bullshit.
It is.
It is. So
because everybody needs love, even the most masculine guy. I mean, you're the most masculine guy I know, and you have those needs.
Well, yeah, and I would hope we all do.
Yes.
And I'm willing to share it.
Yeah.
You just can't keep everything inside.
No.
And I have a bad habit of that. I do. But, you know, it's something I work on every day. But if you know the love language, it's easy to get help and easy to work around it.
That's exactly right. All right, and then we're gonna give you some tips that have worked for us over the years. The first one is just practice. I mean, you're not going to necessarily get it right at the beginning of this. Maybe you will. Maybe you're way better at this than we were.
You're a robot if you do.
But just practice. I mean, let your partner know that you're trying.
Yeah.
You know, let your partner know that their needs matter to you, and just try. It doesn't have to be some grand gesture.
No.
It can be just something small.
Yeah.
Just make the effort.
But you also need to be verbal and check in and make sure you're still both on the same page.
Yeah.
I mean, the last thing you want to do is put in something wrong that could be detrimental to the relationship. And so you gotta check in to make sure.
I mean, put in something wrong. That sounds dirty.
No. A gesture or something that maybe was but's not anymore. That's all I mean.
I gotcha. To check in and see if anything's changed.
Right, to see if anything's changed.
I gotcha. You know, and just you know where my mind goes. Make the effort. Just make the effort. You might not hit the mark on the first time, but at least your partner will know you're trying. So make that effort. And
start with small gestures.
Yeah.
It doesn't take something big. Just small gestures, you know?
Yeah.
Hey, you look great in that outfit. Or, man, that was a good meal.
Yes.
Or, hey, I put premium in your car instead of unleaded.
Yay! We're happy. No, but that's true.
Just keep the touch.
That's right.
Keep it nice.
Yeah.
Doesn't have to be clean.
And the takeaway from this episode, took me a second. The takeaway from this episode is don't be complacent.
No.
I mean, that's really the killer of relationships, or at least of relationship fire.
Yeah.
And love is complacency. So don't get complacent.
No, because it is worth the effort.
That's right.
It is.
It is.
For both parties.
Yeah.
So, yeah. I mean, enjoy. Relationships, the older we get, the more valuable they are.
Yeah.
If you have anything to say about a love language, your relationship, what you do to make your partner feel better, what they do to make you feel better, drop it in our comments. We'd love to read what you have to say.
We want to hear from you. And if you like our channel and you're entertained by us for 20 minutes occasionally, please consider subscribing to our channel. Just hit the little bell, and every time we upload a new episode, Monday through Friday, it'll show up in your feed, and you can spend some time with us and join the revolution. And we are not slowing down.
And neither should you. And together we're Unretired AF.